Hello, everybody. Pop Culture Curator here. It's so good to see you all. Sorry we weren't able to make it last week, but we will do the best we can to make it for that this week. I think we're going to have a great time. Tonight, we're going to be covering the classic original, that is, the Texas Chain Saw Massacre from 1974. I know this movie's had like a dozen remakes, including 3D, and I think even maybe an animated version. I don't know, but um, originally
Uh,
it was not designed to be a franchise, so it just happened to be very successful, so they milked as much out of it as they possibly could.
yeah. There are seven that I found. No,
Jeez, that's crazy.
the spot I was looking for. It had all of them except the one I was looking for.
Of course it did.
And the remakes were terrible. It's like, why bother? It's like, once again, why bother? And if I didn't know better, it's where Matthew Vaughn was involved in one of them. He seems to be involved in all these bad remakes.
Well, right, it was lightning in a bottle, and they're trying to recreate that, and it's just, I don't think it's going to happen again.
No, it's not going to happen. You're right. Well, not only that though, but I think one thing that they seem to overlook when they try to remake it is the original was made with like I think 16 millimeter film, perhaps. It had a low budget look to it, a grunge appeal to it. It looks like it was like it was. It looks like it was shot in a matter of a couple days on one set.
Yeah,
So
it was shot over a,
go ahead.
sorry, it was shot over a month, 31 days time.
Now
Right.
I got a question for you for both of you. Did it
Yeah.
seem like at the beginning of the movie the color was absolutely spectacular? It looked really good, but as the time get on, it got more and more of that '70s look.
You mean like blue?
Well, in the beginning, the color looks really good for the good and all that. Looks pretty good. I'd almost swear it was a
Uh huh.
late '80s movie, but then as the movie got on later and later, you could definitely tell it was a '70s look.
You think it had to do with the fact that it was getting darker? Because like the first part of the movie, the first half, I guess, takes place during the daytime, where it's all bright and sunny, where they're driving along in the van, and then the second half of the movie takes place at nighttime. Maybe that might have had an
Oh, you
effect
think
on
that's
how it looked.
you think that's what it was?
It's possible, but
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think.
like,
Go ahead, Nemesis.
yeah, I just, like, 'cause I remember, I understand what Gorilla's talking about. It's, I don't want to say it becomes oversaturated, but no, I think you're right, Pop. I think it has more to do with, like, the sun setting and the fact that like yeah they're using either an 8 millimeter or 16 millimeter camera that looks like it's like either looks like a snuff film or something you would see in like science class. It looks real, which is amazing, which really helps the film because they even
That's
portrayed it as
true.
like this is a true story, and even though it's not, it's loosely based, very loosely based off of Ed Gein, which also Psycho is also based off of. But
Yes,
and if you don't know about Ed Gein, I definitely recommend you look into him. He's a very interesting American serial killer.
the Butcher of Plainsfield.
You got it.
Yeah, they have Psycho, Texas Chain Saw Massacre. They have modeled so many movies after the Ed Gein story. And of course, the guy never made any money off of any of them. He just went to prison, and he was extremely
Yeah.
gross. He was a cannibal, and he did make furniture out of human remains and all that horrible stuff.
Yeah. He only ever murdered one person, but
And
he,
by
as you said, but
murdered one person, and he was a grave digger. So he was robbing from graves.
yes, which we see in this film actually.
Yep. So, Gorilla, how are you doing tonight, sir? I wanted to say hello to my panel first.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah, a little bit of excitement in the family, but I'll tell you that after the stream.
Oh, well, I hope
Uh,
everything's okay.
well, I'll tell you about it after the stream. That's
Okay.
I don't think the members of the family really wanted online.
Okay. How about you, Nemesis? How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Been a rough week, but I've been looking forward to this. So always a pleasure
Sorry
to be
about
here
that.
with you. Oh, it is what it is, man. But yeah, always a pleasure to be here with you and Gorilla and everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Always waving, even though you guys can't see it because the camera's off. But thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too, especially since we missed last week. And I want to say a special big hello and big hugs to all my good friends in the chat. It's so good to see you all. Thank you for your patience. I know some of you guys have been here for a while now, waiting for the stream to start. And I want to thank you for your patience. And it looks like our first one to speak up tonight was Lemon Pie. Lemon Pie says, good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening, Lemon Pie.
Yeah. Hey, Scurvy.
Hey, it's Derby.
And Nemesis Eden says, good evening to you, Lemon. Lemon Pie says, hey, Nemesis. Cool. People are saying hello to each other. How are you doing today, bud? Says Nemesis Eden. And no need to repeat my own. And Lemon Pie says, I'm well. How are you, Nemesis? And Nemesis says, hey, Pop, I hope you were well. Pop Culture Curator. I'm hanging in there. I think I'm doing okay. As long as I have a voice and I can talk, I'm doing all right.
Totally.
And Nemesis Eden says, now is not the time, Pooch. Nemesis Eden says, I'm doing pretty good, Lemon. Thanks for asking. And hello, Suzanne. Suzanne says, hello, Pop. Hope you're doing well, Suzanne. And she
Hey,
says, Nemesis, hello. And she says, Lemon Pie, hello. Hi,
Hey,
Suzanne. Lemon Pie.
Hey, Suzanne.
Hello, Suzanne. Says Nemesis Eden. And hello, DJ Play Nice. DJ Play Nice says, hey, Lemon Pie.
Hey, TJ.
People are saying hello to each other. Let me see here. Lemon Pie says, DJ.
Hey.
Nemesis Eden says, DJ Play Nice. All right.
Hey, DJ.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be a good turnout. I know this movie might be a little rough on the squeamish. I know some of our regulars who are usually here said they may not make it because this movie has the stigma of being extremely gory, even though it's actually not. A lot of what goes on is implied impact,
yeah,
which people don't understand.
I got a question because, well, that's what originally was why I didn't watch it ever in the first place. It was like the title and all that's intriguing, but I was like, I really do not want to watch a spigot of blood spouting, but it did not really have that. It was actually tasteful blood. Oh,
yes,
right.
That sounded wrong, but
no. It sounded good. You said that very correct. It was there's no gore. There's not very much. It's tasteful. It's artful. This is art. However you look at it, this film is art in its own right. And it's funny because the Hooper who produced the film was hoping to get a PG rating, so he really limited the quantity of on-screen gore. But the Motion Picture Association of America said no and rated it R.
Because
in fact, it was banned in several countries due to complaints of the violence.
Well,
and it's funny, Bob and I were talking backstage, and there's a lot of tropes that start with this film too.
Well, I think it's partially there that you got murder scenes. You're not going to get less than an R on that when you got murder in there.
True, for sure. Well, maybe 14, but I mean, we Canadians are a bit different than the rest of the world. We're a little bit more hardcore.
Well, especially like what you were saying, some countries were outright banning it, which was ridiculous.
Which countries banned it?
That's a fantastic question. I'm going to have to find out.
I can look it up, but I'm sure Britain was one of them. They ban everything there.
They got naked lesbians on their orange juice commercials, but yet they'll ban a little gore.
I don't know if they showed. You got to think back in the 70s. Oops, sorry, Pop.
That's okay. But yeah, it's as you guys will notice as we go through and we cover this, there is not a lot of gore. There's not a lot of blood. I mean, Evil Dead has more blood, but it's all implied impact, which a lot of people their brain gets triggered when they see that. They think that they're actually seeing something that they're not. But that's unfortunately what happens.
Well, I often find it's more effective to just leave things implied and to not show, because it leaves your mind to fill in the blanks with the most horrible things.
Oh, your mind will fill in with what you want to fill in. If that makes sense. Instead of
100%.
Some people would see the most horrendous things. Other people would see kind of like what might actually would look like, and other people it'd be on the softer side for whatever the person personally preferences.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started here. We're all ready to go. Is there anything anybody wants to add before we get started?
Nope, I'm good.
No, I'm good to go.
All right. And I don't know, I would like to at least show a couple really, really short clips tonight to kind of point out some of the things that we're talking about. But I don't know. Last night I tried to show a clip from Lost in Space and I wasn't able to. So it stinks and it's not fair. So we may be just stuck with slides, unfortunately. Okay, and we should have the slide subtitles already on. And away we go. And of course, this opening scene here is narrated. You know the story behind the narration, right, Nemesis?
No, I don't. Please, maybe I do, but enlighten me.
It's narrated by John Larroquette, the tall guy from Night Court. And
I
don't know if anybody knows who that is, but he narrated it for, they paid him a couple joints. They didn't have any money. So they speculate somewhere between a few joints and what they called back then a lid of pot.
Funny.
Okay. Now we had that radio broadcast there. There was one story that caught my attention there, though. They were talking about some oil refinery caught on fire with like 3 of the storage tanks on fire, and it's like only 3 departments came to the call. I was like, we just had our bio plant go up here a few years ago, and they had to call in 35 departments, even get to call in some fire departments from Iowa there to control. And that's just a storage shed. But yeah, the refinery's on fire and only 3 departments came in. I don't know. That just caught my attention for some reason.
I don't know.
A different time, right? Back in the 70s.
Yeah, back in the 70s. And I don't know if that was a real news story or if that's something that was produced for the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I was just saying that just caught my eye. I was like, yeah, there must be some really big departments that versus the experience I've had. Because they even evacuated the entire town for it in case they could get the fire under control. All right, that's all.
All right.
Okay, we're going to get our opening here with flashes of some photographs.
Oh, is that what those were?
Yes.
I don't know what this thing is doing. Is it not playing?
There we go. Oh, well, I mean, it is because, like, it literally just shows, like, a couple of flashes. So what they're doing is they're taking pictures of a corpse that has been set up in a statue outside of a graveyard. So they're implying that there has been grave robbing going on.
Yes.
Okay, I can understand the grave robbing thing kind of there, but why would the sick bastard want to make a statue?
Well, you said that he's sick. So maybe show off his work or something, like an artist.
Yeah, I mean, we find out later who it is, who's the one doing the grave robbing. I'm not going to spoil it for now, but yeah, seems pretty deliberate, right? Like,
Yep. So we have this opening scene here, and the narration is done by a news broadcaster over a radio.
so that's a real dead armadillo.
And that band,
Was it actually a real one, or was it a crochet? It looked crocheted to me.
No, it was real. That was one of the things about this film is they used tons of real animal bones. They picked up live roadkill, or well, not live roadkill, obviously. That's a paradox in itself. They picked fresh roadkill off the road, which that armadillo was one of them. They did anything they could because they had such a little budget to work with. So, like basically $140,000 back then, which is basically $900,000 for inflation in today's money.
right?
So yeah,
that band still exists. It's since remodeled, and now it is on display because due to the cult following of the movie.
That's awesome.
You ever notice like some of the best movies were the ones with the low budgets?
Yeah, because they had to work harder to make a better movie. Unlike Marvel and Disney, where they get millions and millions and millions, and they just throw it in there and it looks like crap. None of it's on the screen.
Well, I'm pretty sure a bunch of that's embezzlement, but that's a whole different song. And welcome to the
Right.
man of many words there, Cody Guy.
Hey, Cody Guy, good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Cody Guy.
Yeah. No, but I'm pretty sure not all that money's going into the production there. It's
Oh
it's
no,
going to-
no. You know they're getting their hair did and they're getting their nails done. Oh no, they're wasting most of the money now.
Right. Well, and I mean, it's interesting because, like, oh my goodness, Tobe Hooper, who was one of the writers and the director and the producer, only has one film behind his name before this movie started. So, like, and it was interesting. I think it was called Eggshells, I believe, something like that. So, like, this is only his second film that he's ever made, and once again, like I said, lightning in a bottle too, right? Like they shot 7 days a week, over the course of 31 days. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that, and I mean, to get to your point too, Gorilla, like I think you're right, a lot of low budget films are just passion projects, right? Like these are people who wanted to create a horror story, and like once again there's a lot of socio-political things going on because there's the Vietnam War, there's vegetarianism, there's the ideal capitalism, there's the fact that Tobe Hooper was basically watching at a time where like people would stop at the side of the road and film crews would like film dead bodies and like people's brains all over the road, and he's just like, well, man's the real monster here, so I'm just gonna put a different bit of a mask on him and make him the main character or the main villain. And that's what we get to see in this film, and it's a really interesting take.
Another thing too is the distinct lack of soundtrack. Gives it realism too. It doesn't have the fancy music and all that playing along.
Yeah, that's one of the things also I noticed, that there's no actual music. There's some real quiet spots. I was like, oh, did this damn thing start buffering again? Nope, it was just it's just a quiet spot.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some musical stings. Oh, sorry, Pop. Go ahead.
Oh shit! I'm gonna grab a soda. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah, like there are some musical stings, and once again, kind of setting up the proponent of like a lot of uh, no, I don't want to say stereotypes, but cliches were set with this film with like we'll get into spoilers when we get into that part, but like violence against women. Where else was I going with this? A little bit of jump scares with the noise, but the music, like you guys were saying, isn't overpowering, and it's not like you're just sitting here and there's all this different music like you would hear in the 80s, 90s in films going on, so on and so forth with that. With this one, it's used sporadically and for effect. Like, there will be one point coming up later in the film that I'm going to kind of gush about because it like traumatized me as like an 11-year-old child just randomly turning this movie on and coming across that scene in particular. It's just like, wah! And it's amazing. It's fantastic. I can't wait to talk about it. But yeah, once again, that's one of the few points in the film where there is a musical sting, and it is distinctly 70s synthesizer, but that's okay because obviously it fits the time. Period.
I'm going to point out also an artistic choice by the actor playing Franklin, the guy we see on the screen right now, who's Sally's brother. I bought this movie, the DVD, with the commentary, and it spoke a lot about how they did the movie and put it together and stuff like that. And I don't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, but one thing he did to create the realism, the separation between him and the actors, was during the entire shoot, he stayed to himself. He ate by himself. He chilled by himself in different rooms. When people were hanging out in one room, he'd be in another room. So that way he purposely distanced himself to add that sense of realism, and which was actually pretty effective. And it does work, because you could tell that Franklin here does not get along with everybody else. And he's just along for the ride, and he does not want to be there.
Yeah. Well, I felt kind of bad. I couldn't imagine having to sit there and try to piss in the can while sitting down.
Yeah, I know. You got to be very careful, I guess, right? I hope you got a big one.
Yeah, right.
Like, I've taken leaks on the side of the road there, but I've never had to have this problem that this guy had.
Well, and I mean, nowadays they'd use like catheters and stuff. But we're not going to get into that. We're just going to carry on. And his name was Paul A. Partain.
Thank you.
Paul Allen Partain. Born November 22nd, died 1946, and died January 28th, 2005.
Yeah. Oh, so he lived a long life. Good for him.
Hey, and welcome Euler Greg there. He's the fellow pop nemesis and the legendary gorilla. Now notice that you guys are just pop nemesis, and I'm the legendary gorilla.
Flattering.
I see where I fall, OG. I get it. Whatever.
And Euler Greg says hello to everyone in the chat as well. Yeah, Texas does have some scary remote locations. Like, Texas has a lot of empty land, a lot of big ranches out there, especially West Texas.
Oh yeah, dude! Like, fantastic. Like, the location that they chose to set this movie in plays a big part too, just for that whole isolation factor, right? Where you're just, these people are stuck. They're there, like, right? Like, there's no one else around.
Right. If I remember right, they're on their way to a concert.
I thought they were going to see their grandparents' house, and they went to stop by by the cemetery there to see if their grandpa's one of the ones dug up and eaten, or dug up.
That is correct. Yeah, that's correct, Gorilla.
Yeah.
Right, because they heard the news report on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, like, Frank, through just in this scene here, he recounts that, like, they owned the slaughterhouse, I believe, is what they imply. That it's the Hardesties are the ones who owned the slaughterhouse, so it's their ancestors
No, no, he didn't own it. He worked there, and he just happened to get a tour of it. That's what I picked up from that conversation.
Okay.
It's possible, and I don't remember, so I can't be a referee on that one.
Yeah,
That's fair, and I'm.
All right. Euler Craig said the super religious people can be very spooky. Well, I don't think she was very religious. She's just like one of those. Well, I guess you could consider. I thought she's like those horoscopes and zodiac signs things.
I think he's referring to just the religious people in general out in the sticks can be very spooky.
Oh, the fanatics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to this. Listen to this news report. Listen, the condition of retrogradation is contrary of inharmonious to. They would never speak to the audience like that these days. They'd be like, "Hell, these people don't know what the hell we're talking about."
In all fairness, I was like, "What the heck was this guy? Was he spoken when he's saying this here?" No fairness.
Well, certainly not pot because we don't talk like that. Like I proud myself in my lexicon of words, but like I don't talk like that, especially when I'm stoned.
No, people don't.
So yeah, we're introduced to our cast of characters here. We've got Sally, Jerry, Pam, Kirk, and Franklin.
And you could tell another thing too. It's great. Filmed on location, people. No green screen. They're actually suffering in that Texas heat.
Yes. Yeah, that was one of the big things too, right? Like it was filmed. Oh my God, when was this filmed? I think it was. I swear it was in July or June. Like just in some of the hottest months.
Yeah.
Because there was points in the movie where the actors, in between takes, they'd run off the set to go vomit because it was so hot in the house.
Yep. No air conditioning in that van. Pre-AIDS, pre-HIV. You could have sex, not have to worry about it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was still there. They just didn't. It wasn't. The big hype wasn't there yet.
No, it wasn't there. We had syphilis, and we had STD, not HIV.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, welcome, Basil Battle Dragon.
Hello, Basil. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Welcome.
Yeah.
You're just in time for the Texas Chain Saw Massacre.
And welcome, Jim's Landscaping LLC, #1 Commodore Productions. Welcome. He says hello.
Hello, Jim. Congratulations again on 5,000, Jim.
And Basil.
Yeah, dude.
The static is Nemesis's phone there.
Really? I have static?
Yeah.
You're going in and out a little bit.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Okay. I mean, there's not much I can do about it. My internet connection must not be too great today. My apologies, everyone. Let's see if I can readjust. Does that do anything?
That's okay. We're just glad to have you here.
Okay. But I'm glad to be here. And hello to Basil. And hello to Jim's Landscape. And yes, congratulations on 5K, sir. Well deserved, and you're going to have 5,000 more soon enough. All right, so now we have we picked up our hitchhiker friend yet, or are we just still loading him back in after taking a piss?
We're at the graveyard.
Oh, okay.
Just got some people getting drunk.
Yeah, it's this movie doesn't have much for filler, but like there's a little bit. But I mean, I guess this is still just an establishing shot versus anything else.
And here's you're saying, Franklin, don't worry, I saw it myself. It didn't look dug up to me. I think you're talking about the grandpa's grave. What is that stench? Well, that's the old slaughterhouse.
Yeah. Hey, how would you feel if you found out that your relatives are dug up and eaten?
I guess I wouldn't be
Probably
happy.
horrified. I mean, I'll be quite honest. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know how I'd react. Be very interesting. Yeah, so this is where Franklin talks about the Hardesty's family history with the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
And it's important because they're talking about bashing their head in with a sledgehammer and whatnot. And this comes back to be mirrored later on in the film. It's very important. There's a little bit of dialogue in there that it's not ironic, but it's foreshadowing.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, they're sitting there going back and forth whether or not it's better him in the head or that bolted in the back of the head for the cows.
Yeah, what's more humane?
Well, cows aren't stupid.
No, they're not. And it's funny because, like, there's one of the things about this film is it brings up the question of, like, what do we deem reprehensible? What do we find, like, just awful and horrific versus what's fine for slaughter, right? Like, we kill cows, chickens all the time. That's just seemed fine, right? But to cut up a person and to consume them just seems vile and revolting to us. But it's like, why? Ultimately, in reality,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
what's
for
the
you. Maybe for you, Nemesis.
And there's the
What
old
about it?
vegetarian comment.
I'm sorry, the gorilla's a vegetarian, bro.
I'm not a vegetarian.
Gorilla's
No, I know you're
definitely
not. I've
a
seen your.
vegetarian. Yeah.
No,
I got proof I'm not a vegetarian.
no, I know. I've seen your shorts. Which, by the way, selfish plug for Gorilla. Check out his shorts if you guys haven't already.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're lucky. I miss being able to cook like that.
Yeah, and I mean, this film is really dialogue heavy when it needs to be. Which, I mean, they have to because they're setting up a bunch of ideals and principles, and they're establishing the characters, right? And I really like the camera angle of this scene, where you can tell it's just a camera in the middle of the van. It's literally right there, and it's just doing different shots back and forth. What the heck is that? Jesus. Yeah. Anyways, really like it.
Now we get the hitchhiker. What does he look like, of course? And Franklin warns him he's going to smell like a slaughterhouse because they're picking him up outside. Okay, the guy break. He can sit by Franklin. How nice. And they're all sitting on one side of the band, and he's on the other by himself.
Yeah, that scene there was just way too quiet. Picking up that guy.
No music.
Well, once again, it sets a tense atmosphere, right? Because, like, dude, I wouldn't be too happy if we stopped and picked that dude up. Like, seriously? I'd be like, no.
No, especially
Yeah.
considering the first thing he does is pull out a fucking knife.
No, that's not the first thing he was talking about the slaughterhouse and all that. He just had south, but that I've had some hitchhiker stuff and all that. One of the best stories we got for hitchhikers around here was I used to walk. We have a restaurant that's about a mile south of town. It's about a mile between town and the interstate, so it's out in the country there. I used to just walk out to work there because it's only 2.5 miles, so I just walked. And well, there was one night, one Saturday there. Well, our hostess there, she she was heading out to work, and then she spotted a person with a blue coat. She's like, "Oh, I think I'll go pick up Gorilla. I'll stop and pick up Gorilla there." So she stops, and the person hopped in and goes, "Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm heading down to Des Moines. How far are you going?" She looks and goes, you're not Gorilla." He goes and he talks. He's trying to get down to Des Moines there to get to his father's funeral. She goes, "Well, I could give you a ride here for a quarter of a mile. But that's my stop."
Oh, that's not gonna do much good.
Well, he appreciated it anyhow, but it's quarter
Yeah.
less mile he had to walk. But yeah, because Des Moines is let's see, it's 120 to Albert Lee. Then I think it's another 120 south to Des Moines from there. So there you go, you guys. You guys got a rough estimate of where I'm at.
I'm gonna track you down. I'll find you.
Nemesis, if anybody wants to track me down, it's really, really not that hard. Especially if they pay attention to my channel.
That's fair.
Okay.
Here, can we catch up on the chat? We got quite a bit of it.
Good idea. Thank you.
All right, scrolling. Right. Oh, Greg said, as we saw in Ride with the Devil. I've never seen that one. And
Ride with the Devil. I don't think I've seen that either. Race with the Devil, I've seen.
Yeah. And Basil says, cheers, everyone. Well, cheers to you, Basil. I'll cheer you with I'll hold up my just a little bit of backwash of my Harley Davidson I had the other night that I was too lazy to go throw the recycling. And other Greg says, cheers, Basil. And Basil says, have no fear, the great dragon is here. Hey, as long as it's not like Dr. Smith's, have no fear, Dr. Smith is here, then we'll be good. Basil says, what's with the static? We established that with the thing there. And Golden Greg says, watch out where you park your RV, Basil. And he says, hey, hello, Greg. Jim said hello when we say hello to Jim. And Basil says, Euler, you are correct. Texas has some very scary places. Well, any state has that. And hello, Jim. Thank you for the warm welcome, friends. Not a problem there, Basil. Not a problem. And people saying hi. Jim is closing on a 5,500. Nice job there, Jim. You deserve it.
Hell yeah, dude. Awesome.
Yeah. Euler Greg says Euler, there is a road near Huntsville that leads to the backwoods cemetery that is said to be a rather dangerous place to be at night. Oh, I could go out one night. Hey, if you guys want, I'll do a live stream going out to Loon Lake Cemetery. Now that one's supposed to be the 4th most haunted cemetery or place in Minnesota.
Oh, I wish I could go with you. That sounds like it would be awesome. I'd totally do a nighttime cemetery tour with you.
Jim can get a signal.
Well, head on over. It's not like they'll stop you at the border.
Yeah, I just need to get my passport and a few other things. But yeah, totally.
You don't even need the passport now right now.
I'd like to get back into my own country. Yes, I do need my passport.
Oh, it's the getting back part.
Yes.
Greg says he needs a super powered wheelchair like in Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
And Basil says Galveston has so many places you should not be at night, much less any other time. Now, when you say that, much less any other time, that makes me think you're talking about the ghetto. And Grill says, you can now say, I stand with Texas Chain Saw Massacre. And Highlandman, Jim. Greg says, they are around the Dallas area. That explains a lot. Yes, it does, Oiler Greg. Yes, it does. And there you Nemesis, you want to read this one? No, okay. A werewolf got Nemesis.
Maybe
Oh,
that's
sorry, my mic. I've been talking for like 3 minutes, and apparently my mic was muted. My apologies. Anyways,
And Oiler Greg says, just weird audio, lol. Yeah, yeah, it's frustrating. I will give them another cleaning when I get a chance. Give what another cleaning?
my earbuds, maybe that'll help. Like they even had a hard time connecting to my phone tonight, so it might just be the earbuds themselves. And yeah, apparently they're located in Newt, Texas. If that gives anyone any indications.
Are you saying filming location?
This film is supposed to be set in Newt, Texas. Newt, like that. Like
takes place.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sounds like a small town.
Oh, it very much does. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So this is a crazy scene.
Yeah. And Scurvy here says, no one wants to track Gorilla down. Yeah, Greg says, no problem. It comes and goes. And Race with the Devil, Peter Fonda.
Yes. And Warren Oates.
Yeah. And Basil says, hey, but unlike Dr. Smith, the dragon will not run away.
No, that's true.
Yeah. And Oiler Greg says, bravo, Sir Chicken. All right, that's all the chats there. Now this guy,
Thank you.
I at first I wouldn't probably let this guy in, but even if I did offer to give this a ride, I would have thrown his ass out way before he goes and pulls the knife out.
Well, right, yeah. Like as soon as he dude carves open his hand and smears it on his face. I remember seeing that at like 10 years old and just being like, what the hell was that? And even then, just the one dude just sitting there, he's just like, that's a little fucked up. And oh, apparently Lemon Pie says Newt is strictly fictional. So thank you, Lemon.
Yeah, we got 3 Texans in the chat tonight, don't we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Basil. I know Lemon is, and then I think Basil and OG, right?
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Oiler Greg because the Houston Oilers.
Oh, and here I thought it was the Edmonton Oilers. Oh, it makes so much sense. No, I kid.
I kid. At least you get the reference.
Oh, dude, right? He's such a good actor. Hang on, I need to find this gentleman's name.
Yeah, the casting is incredible.
And they're all local Texans. Like, this dude's from Texas, so the dude who plays Leatherface, this gentleman here. Come on, where be the casting? Edwin Neal is the and he's only quoted as the hitchhiker, and it's his best known role.
I know, it's too bad he didn't come back for the sequel.
Right? Oh, apparently he's been doing a lot of voice acting, including Wii's Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. So there you go.
Cool. Good for him.
Yeah, straight up. Good. Yeah.
And Frank.
Oh, and he's done a bunch of other stuff too. Well, and he even just based on this, dude, I wish he had more acting roles. Like, look at that. I'm just freaks me out. And
this is probably his first role, right? The one that was breakthrough that made him famous.
Yeah, best known as Rolling Stage. Early life career.
It's a good knife. See, everybody, it's a good knife. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure. Yeah, very good knife. Or it's a straight edge. Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah. I can't believe people would trust their barbers with a person with a straight edge, like shave their necks and all that. One wrong comment, oops, my hand slipped.
You have a lot of barbers in jail, I guess.
well, that's one of those. I would never trust anybody with a straight edge around my neck. I'll tell you that right
Oh,
now.
dude, I have. Oh my god, what's the movie called? It's the one with. Oh my god, damn it! I'll think about it. It's got the. Okay. Oh, this is gonna.
So here's where you wonder. I wonder why this guy's carrying around this big old camera.
Yeah, that's just creepy. I'm taking pictures of them.
And now they're worried now because he took their picture. It's like, okay, what are you gonna do with that picture? And of course, all they can think about is getting him out of that van. How nice of him to invite them for dinner. You like head cheese? My brother makes it real good. You'll like it. Oh my god, that's gross.
Gross.
Yeah.
Sorry, also, the movie that I was talking about was Natural Born Killers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When this was made, did they even have instant cameras back then?
That was not an instant camera.
Well, yeah,
Yes,
he
they
pulled
did.
it.
Polaroid had some.
Okay, because
Yeah, but
Oh, did he? Oh, it developed right there. He did pull it out.
yeah, he just pulled it out. He waved it, and he goes, "He took a picture of me." Then he burned the picture right there in front of him.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes, they did. They were very dark, and they took a few seconds to develop. But that's right. The ones with the peel back. That was Polaroid.
Right? Like, what a tense scene. Like, it just builds up and builds up. Like, you just start off as, like, kind of uncomfortable, and then it gets, like, really uncomfortable the more he acts, and then, like, he starts to act like a super creep, and then he wants them to pay him. He's like, now pay me for the picture. And they, like, absolutely refuse to do it. And so he, like, reaches forward and, like, grabs Franklin's arm and slices open the top of his forearm with a straight razor.
Yeah, that's just like. And why did they take him to a hospital right away?
I think that because they're running low on gas. Yeah, so he's performing some sort of ritual here, which is kind of interesting. Oh, well, it would creep me out. If I picked up a hitchhiker and he like took a picture of me and like burnt it in the back of my van, I'd be freaking out too. I mean, let alone if he had like sliced open his hand and like smeared it all over his face. You're just like, nah. I would have been like immediately regretted my decision. But and here we go. Ah, he's coming at you. And he gets him good.
Yeah.
And they throw him out. And what does he do? He marks the van.
Well, after that, they are in a 2A friendly state. I'm pretty sure no one would miss him.
Oh my god. Right? So now that we got that crazy psychopath out of the van there, right? I'm about half ready to call a cop. Right. I'd be like, bro. But once again, different times, right? Like, these are all hippies. Like, they're all hippies. They don't think anything bad's going to happen to them. They think the world's all about peace and love and good happiness stuff.
Right. And kiddies, this is why you don't go hitchhiking.
So that's why you don't pick them up.
Or pick them up.
Oh, dude, right? Like, even if I was walking on the road, I would be wary if someone was like, hey, you want to ride? I'd be like, fuck, no, I don't. Thank you very much. Like, keep driving, please.
Well, I take a ride from random people in town, but there was one time though, my red flags were flaring there when I was walking out to work. I was walking home from work from a Sunday afternoon there where I worked dishes and we got done about 2:30 and 3. I just walked home because either the other people had left or the people that were still there still had some stuff to do, so I was just walking home. And some guy stopped and asked me, like, where's the interstate? I was like, just turn around, head back. As soon as you hit the bridge, that's the interstate. He goes, I can't, can you just hop in and show me? I was like, no, I got to get home. They're expecting me. I was like, no, just hop in and show me real quick where the interstate is. We're talking a straight road. It's a highway. Just turn around.
Yeah.
You hit the freaking bridge. You're at the interstate. Like, all kinds of red flags are going up with this guy.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it sounds pretty suspicious. I'm glad you didn't jump in, man.
Yeah.
So we do have a bunch of chats.
Yeah. Hey, I may be a dumbass, but I'm not that much of a dumbass.
Well, you might be dumb, but you're not a fool.
Yeah. Let's see. Other Greg says, if he's getting in that car, I'm getting out. Hey, why did
Fuck yeah, dude.
Hey, Other Greg, you're in Texas, one of the most 2A friendly states. Why ditch a perfectly good car when you're in a 2A state? You probably get an award for doing them a service. But anyhow, Other Greg says, I pour all my junk mail to Newt, Texas. Scurvy says he looks like the psycho version of James Franco's character in Pineapple Express.
True, kind of similar.
I thought he looked like Andrew WK.
Who's that?
Musician, filmmaker, a man of many talents.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Scurvy says Newt doesn't sound like a giant or like a great name for a town.
No, it sounds small.
Newt says that they mostly come out at night mostly. Newt, the only worst name for a town, Earwig.
I don't know, dude. We got a town named Balzac here where I live.
Well, there's a town, I think it's in Kentucky or Tennessee, that's called Uranus.
Nice.
And just for the heck of it, I believe there is a fudge factory there.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
You were going to say something, Pop? No?
No? Okay. Mother Grace says that reminds me of the Earwig episode of Night Gallery, Scurvy. I've never seen Night Gallery. Maybe Pop knows what we're talking about there. I don't know the Earwig episode.
Yeah, I'm hoping to cover Night Gallery after we're done with Gilligan's Island, hopefully. And I was going to say this building still stands. It is now a motel.
Cool. I love the fact that that's still a thing. Yeah, I just love the fact that it's still preserved and people can go and see it today if they want to.
Yep, it's because of the movie, the popularity of the movie.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Oh, Greg also says, yeah, it's kind of satanic, like in Race with the Devil. Also ruled northern Texas. And
Yes.
other Greg says, 70s was a dangerous era. Most people knew it. After the Manson family murders, the love culture mostly disappeared. I've heard the term Mansons, but I never actually looked into that story.
What? You should probably look into that story, bro.
Something about family murdered or something like that. That's the most I know about it.
Sharon Tate getting murdered with a pregnant child. The Manson family. Yeah, it's some heavy shit, dude. Some pretty heavy stuff.
So they're trying to get gas, but the gas station has no gas.
Yes. So in regards to our question earlier as to why they didn't just drive to a hospital, well, here we go.
Well, I figured they still had like a quarter tank left or something. They just wanted to top her off.
And there won't be any gas till tomorrow evening. Tomorrow morning, that is not encouraging.
Well, I thought it was just later that afternoon the truck was coming in.
Nope, he said tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we set up this gentleman. Here, we don't think it has much to do with the story, but turns out to be a key component later on.
You don't want to go mess around that old house.
Well, they thought that. Well, he said people don't take too kindly of people rooting around property. He goes, and the guy's like, "Well, it's my dad's house." He goes, "Oh," he still tried talking him out of it. So, like red flags were going up on that one.
Well, yeah. Dude, right? And it's just like, I mean, like, not subtle red flags though. It's not like, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense to me, right? Like, I wouldn't just be like, "Oh, let's go investigate this abandoned house." Like, to me, that's just asking for trouble, especially in a place like Texas where everyone has guns.
Yeah.
Let alone what else we're about to find.
Oops. Got some good barbecue here.
Once again, hinting at the meat consumption of the film.
Oh.
And so once again, the proprietor here is just trying to talk him out of it, but I don't think it's going so well.
Right.
Well, he's just making him more and more curious there. Like, why are you trying to stop us from going to see my property?
We should have asked if there's another gas station around. Yeah, assuming the guy's going to tell you the truth.
Well, most cases like that, they would be honest, most cases. Unlike, but this guy here, he's not exactly.
Right, this guy, I don't know if I would trust, but yeah, most cases, yes.
Right, and I mean, like, ultimately, that dude, if he's trying to dissuade them from going to the house, if there was another gas station, he probably would send them there just to get them out of his area.
No, I don't think it's going to have room service.
Now, would you trust barbecue from a shabby gas station like that?
Isn't that where you get the best barbecue?
Yeah, normally you're hoping that the health department maybe checks in on them every now and then, but you never know.
What you hope and what you get are two different. Can be two different things, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know if I would trust the food being fresh.
No, it just seems like a gas station looks a little too run down for me to trust it.
Well, I certainly wouldn't eat the sushi that was there, but I don't know. Maybe some cooked food could be good. If I watched them cook it right in front of me, maybe. I mean, I
Well,
wouldn't have
I would
any
say,
idea to believe that it was anything other than actual beef.
I'd
No,
say,
sweet.
well, you got some potato salad, maybe.
Hey, then you could be like Fry on Futurama there and get some worms there that turn you into a superhuman.
Exactly. See, and that's exactly how that always works out.
Yeah, what? There's absolutely no fiction there at all.
No, no, sir. And so what we didn't get to see is when Buddy jumped out of the vehicle, he left a sign on the side of the vehicle with his blood.
Yes, he marked it.
Now, was there a reason why he did that?
Marked it. He marked it for the family.
Yeah, so other people would know. Yeah, so his family would know. So, like, I don't know. Once again, I can't get too much into spoilers yet, but
Right. And of course, they're talking about the hitchhiker, and Franklin is fascinated with them. And they got some barbecue.
now I've always wondered, like, if they had paid that dude, do you think any of this would have transpired?
Possibly not, and depending on how easily they would let him off on the side of the road. Look at those super bells.
Oh, dude, right? I was just like, the fashion in this film.
I remember wearing them. I remember living through that fashion.
Oh, dude, I couldn't imagine you in those pants. But I mean, like, oh, that's a nice shot. Not gonna lie.
Well, the worst part is that they got wet. Like if you're on the beach or at a lake or something, they get wet. That was very, very uncomfortable.
Oh, for sure. I feel like they just drag on the ground a lot, get all frayed and whatnot.
They do. They got frayed on the bottom. And here's they notice that guy smeared blood all over the van. Well, then maybe you should wash it. Like if you're trying to write something. And there's the blood.
And once again, just great panoramic shots. Not, well, I wouldn't say panoramic, but like just the shots do a lot to convey the emptiness and isolation that these people are in right now. It gives you a sense of alienation too, right? Like it's just, I don't know. I wouldn't say borderline surreal, but it is very unnerving.
Looks like the birthplace of Bela Lugosi. And they get out and decide to scout out the area. I'm not sure if it actually means anything. They were actually driving away as he was doing it, so I think it's just a smear. You think they were considered washing it off when they were at the gas station?
You would think, but
Well, I mean, yeah. pretty low concern, though, for him. If you think about it, be like, oh, I'd rather look for gas than wash off the blood from the side of the vehicle.
And of course, blood, people look at it differently now than they used to then. Now they have a deathly fear of touching it. This is my room. I got to stay here one time when I was 8 years old.
So how does she have memories if she's only been there one time?
I guess she
Well, I
remembers.
mean, certain memories, maybe something would trigger. I don't know. People remember different things, right?
I would remember possibly. But honestly, I don't. Are they thinking about remodeling the house? I mean, it looks pretty decrepit. There's old Franklin struggling by himself.
But once again, he chose to do that.
Of course.
Because they've offered him help, and he's like, no, I can do it myself. And it's just like, it's going to be your downfall.
Poor Franklin.
Yeah, you can tell he's bitter about like just life in general.
Well, because they're laughing, and he's mocking them laughing.
Yeah. Did they ever say why he was in a wheelchair?
I don't think so.
Right? Like, yeah.
I'm glad they don't.
No, I don't think it would. Yeah, I don't think it was ever established, but like.
These days they would. They'd have a whole backstory based on it.
Well, I don't need a backstory. It'd be nice to say the damn accident. Now I'm stuck in this wheelchair. Just something to establish like why he's in a wheelchair.
I think this would be more realistic where they don't talk about it. We're using when people go through traumatic events. It's something they don't talk about very often. And of course, Franklin's jealous. He can't go upstairs like they can. We'll see in an hour or so, yeah.
Yeah. You think someone would stay down there with him?
Well, they don't see any reason to be any danger. If anything, it would just be boring. Bones.
And there we go. One of the first ominous signs in film that something might not be quite right.
And we got our 70s music montage.
Oh.
Yeah, so like once again, that scene that we just passed by is really nice. There's a lot of shots where it just focuses on like just creepy elements of the house, like that broken down tent and all the decrepit stuff, or just kind of lingers on it for a little bit, and you're just like, oh, that's interesting.
Yep. And there's an old bug. And a bunch of collection of old cars. How do you like that? I wonder what they're doing there.
Yeah, I wonder why those are there. It seems a little bizarre, right?
Right,
Especially
and
the fact that they're hidden off.
Hidden, right? They got camouflage covering them.
I just seriously just thought it was an abandoned, got like a just abandoned place for cars. I didn't think too much of it.
The generator looks pretty clean.
Brand new, almost. And it's running, too. One of the things that we can't hear is that generator is running.
Yes.
So it's providing power to the house. Or it's providing power to something.
Which means they're off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
And that house is now a restaurant.
Which is amazing. I love that. You can go, hope they serve steak. You can go in and eat it rare.
Exactly. So the house, due to the fame of the movie, the house was purchased, lifted up, relocated to another location in Texas, where it is now a restaurant establishment.
So this scene here, this is the scene that I turned in. There was a channel called Shadow Lane back on satellite back in the day. And as a kid, I turned on the Texas Chain Saw Massacre. And it was this scene here with Kirk. And he's coming in the house to try and talk to people to see if they can barter for gas because they see the generator's running, so it needs gas, so they obviously have some. So he comes in, and like, as a 10-year-old, I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what this movie was about, right? So it's just this scene, and he's coming through it, and you can see this room, and this room is super ominous, and immediately gives you bad vibes.
It looks like fun. It looks like Christmas in there.
Dude, right? I'd be like, if I saw that, I would kind of like immediately question my decision. It's like, I know they're out of gas, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. So yeah, this is super tense, right? Like, it's dead quiet. There's no noise or anything. He's walking through the house. He said hello. There's no response. And he trips on this little doorway coming up here. And out comes Leatherface and smashes him in the head with a ball-peen hammer. Now, and as a 10-year-old, like, this scared the absolute shit out of me. As he, like, to hear this, and this is one of the only times where there's a musical sting, so it's very effective.
Yes.
And Buddy's twitching on the ground and seizuring, and like there's a little bit of blood, right? But like not a whole lot. And then Leatherface drags him in and slams the metal door shut, and then there's another like ominous musical sting, and it leaves it there. And that was the point where I shut the film off. Because I was terrified. I was just like, oh, I almost had a heart attack as a 10-year-old. I was just like, oh my God. And like, oh, dude. And then I turned it back on into where Franklin is alone in the field. And I'm just like, oh no. So unfortunately, I missed this scene as a kid.
You had to compose yourself.
Yeah, I did. Because I kept coming back. I get too scared, and then I compose myself, and I turn it back on. And then you run away, right? Because you get scared, and you turn it. Yeah, it was a constant cycle, but I loved it. You understand.
Oh, yeah.
So Pam has come in, and she doesn't see Kirk. She has no idea that he's being taken care of by Leatherface in the other room with the metal shutter. So she's come in, and there's chickens, and there's animal bones. And bearing in mind, these are all real animal bones. Like, all of that is real. Like, they took the time to decorate the set and whatnot with actual bones.
And the house stunk because of it. That's it.
Yes.
It was very hot, and it stunk.
Well, it's the price you get for working in Hollywood.
Oh, 100%. Right?
Yeah,
like, it's not only now... Sorry, Pop, go ahead.
I was just going to say, let's see a modern-day actor put up with that.
Oh, dude, right? Well, and it's funny, because, like, we're seeing now that it's not just only animal bones, but there's human bones here, too. So she's really realizing that this is a bad place to be.
Yeah, maybe this is not the right place to be, exactly.
Yeah, right? Well, I mean, oof. Well, unfortunately, you still don't know where your friend is, too, right? So it's just like, as far as she knows, it's just Kirk went in here and is like in the basement or something. She doesn't know.
Right.
And so,
And it does make it worse the fact that he's not answering.
yeah. Oh, dude, I'd be terrified. Absolutely terrified after stumbling across all of this. And then all of a sudden, boom, here comes Leatherface. Whips open the door. And he chases her down. And once again, an iconic scene where he grabs her and he fucking takes her back and she's screaming in terror and whatnot. Like, they've tried to emulate this scene in a lot of other movies. And then here comes an awesome scene, and once again, not a lot of gore. It's all implication, but it's
right.
awesome.
It's all in the brain, right? This is where, and this is the scene that a lot of people point out where they're saying it's too gory when he does that, and it's like you don't actually see it, people.
Yeah. And hey, Cam. I mean, they could have gone full the Toxic Avenger 2 on this thing and just made a freaking sprinkler out of him.
Like,
right? Right? It's that little shot of her back, and then that's all it takes is for the implication for your brain to do it, because it's there, it's quick, and then it cuts off so fast, and it looks like he's setting her down, because it's just him blocking, and then it's cut to this scene, and it's just above her chest, so you're just like, oh my god, right? And so here's Kirk on the table, and she's like being strung up on a meat hook, once again, with the allegory to cattle, right? Like, it's interesting that both of these people have come in, and it's almost like they're on a conveyor belt, and they're cattle being brought in for the slaughter.
I think she had some kind of like loop thing on her back.
Yes.
No, Gorilla, they actually impaled her on it. This was her first and only film.
Hey, anything to save money.
Dude, right? It's just like, oh my god, can you imagine? Fuck.
You would have to pay her afterwards.
Well, like, you'd have to pay her family, you'd think, or something. You never know.
Hey, man, she never showed up to set, man. We don't know where she was at. We just thought she said fuck it. So we just AI generated her face onto a stunt double.
So this is probably the goriest part, or one of the gorier parts of the movie, and even then it's not like super gory because they block the actual part where he's cutting with just a little bit of thing, and it's all implication, but it's showing him dismembering a body with a chainsaw, so that got a lot of people freaked out.
Which is also why they got that R rating, right? There was no way they're going to walk out with anything less than that.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's crazy. And hello, Cam. Good to see you, dude. I don't know if I got a chance to say hello to you earlier.
Yeah, hey, C4. Hey, C4.
What were you saying, Gorilla?
I just said, hey, C4.
Can't see. That's clever. I like that. Cam, I'm calling you C4 from now on because that's fucking awesome. If I just missed the poll, no, there we go. Okay, so we do got a few things here from Cam if we want to catch up on that.
Sounds like a good idea.
Oh my god, Cam, Jesus. Oh.
I guess I could do it.
Sure. I can just read them out too. So.
Let me see where Gorilla left off.
We left off at, it should be Basil Battle Dragon saying, Euler, you're right.
Oh, you're right. The Manson saga was gruesome, to say the least. It freaked out a lot of people, yet made people wake up too. They began to realize society wasn't all peace, love, and roses. And Cam says pop culture, high pop, Gorilla, and Nemesis Lemon Pie greets Bud. Ola greets howdy, and Basil Battle Dragon says hi, good to see you all. Likewise, you too, sir. Lemon Pie says, hey, Cam. And Cam says, I like my lampshades made of human skin. I mean, who doesn't? Am I right?
Ed Gein certainly did.
Yep. Cam says, "Is this the one R&B worked on, or is that the sequel?" Oh no! He did not work on this. No, he worked on Free Enterprise. He had nothing to do with these movies. Thank goodness.
Who's
Cam,
R&B?
Robert Meyer Burnett.
Oh, okay.
He's a hack. Chill. Cam's his first and last film.
Snuff
Cam
film, baby. Ooh.
Girl came up with a good one. C4 works, says Cam.
Awesome. We have Cam's approval. Amazing.
All right, cool. Let me hide that. And back to the movie.
Right. So now we have brother and sister. So, I mean, at the very least, she's stuck with him.
Right. Well, he's even saying, "You didn't want me to really come, did you?" But of course, she was just trying to be sympathetic for her brother.
And then, so once again, like a lamb to the slaughter, here comes Jerry.
Yes, looking for the other suckers.
Yeah. Right, and that's one of the things that establishes this from other films is like all of these people basically voluntarily go into this situation. Like, obviously, they don't know what's going on, but like no one's forced them into this situation.
Correct.
Well, I mean, they're kind of forced into it with the whole gas situation, but ugh. And once again, just like the lighting and the shots and the cinematography in this film are so good. And like, I really like the fact that the low quality of the film actually helps. And it gives it more of a sense of realism than anything.
I completely agree. It doesn't have that Hollywood look and gloss to it.
No. And then we hear some knocking coming from the freezer. And you're just like, oh my God, what the hell's in there? Because notice we don't see Pam. She's not hanging up on the meat hook anymore. So where's Pam? There's Pam. We found her.
Yeah, that would definitely freak me out. Just in time, too.
Yeah, man yells, Jerry screams, boom, again with the hammer. And then he slams the lid back down on her. And I mean, like, she can't have been in there for too long because, like, there's only so much oxygen that would be in there before she'd, like, use it all up and suffocate.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, I mean, that I kind of hope to go that way. Well, I mean, considering she had, like, a lung pierce, too. Or maybe not. It depends on where in the back that he skewered her on that meat hook. And so, once again, this is one of the first starts of the trope where the killer is a big, masked, hulking man.
Yes. Right, this is before Halloween and Friday the 13th and all of those.
Yes.
There was a Town That Dreaded Sundown. I have to see which one came out first.
I'm going to look that up right now.
And of course, now they're wondering why their friends didn't come back to the car.
Well, I'd be wondering too, right? Like, it's just like, yeah, it's one thing, like, I mean, Summer of Love, well, not Summer of Love, but I mean, like, Free Love, all that's fun stuff, right? It's one thing because they were initially going to go swimming, and then they came across the cars, and then Kirk went in to go get gas, and that's how he got killed, and then Pam gets got. And now Jerry's been got, so now we're down to 2. So this one came out before The Town That Dreaded Sundown. This came out in 1974, and The Town That Dreaded Sundown came out in 1976. So 2 years later.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. It's another one that I'm gonna have to put on the list.
Oh, that sucks. They don't have the keys.
Brutal. Yeah, because Jerry had the keys. The dude with the fro who just got killed with a hammer.
Yep.
He was the driver.
Now they're arguing.
Right, and so here we have. Right, and it's just like, once again, terrifying, because like they have no idea like that all of their friends are dead, and that basically having the flashlight is just basically shining like, oh, we're over here, come get us.
Yeah. Just a second, I'll be right back.
Yeah, dude, of course.
Sorry. Oh.
So yeah, once again, thanks to everyone who's been watching along so far. I appreciate it. We appreciate you guys being here.
Now, what was with the girl when she popped out of the cooler there? I thought she was already dead.
No. So clearly not. So he must have just like stuck her on the hook to make her stick around for a little while so she wouldn't run off, and then he must have stuck her in the freezer, and like she was still obviously very cold, so she had to have been in there for like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes at least. Not long enough to use up all the oxygen. I mean, she's breathing with half a lung, so I mean, it's going to take twice the amount of time. So at least there's that. But yeah, no, I think he just stuck her in there as like, eventually, like, if Buddy hadn't come and opened up the thing, she would have froze to death in there. So he's just keeping her in there for later. Because he's already, as we saw, he killed. I want to call him Jerry. It's not Jerry. Who did he kill first? Kirk. He killed Kirk first, and he's already cut him up, so they already have a bunch of food. So it's not like they need to cut up a whole other body and start cooking that now. Well, I guess you could do that and stick it in the freezer, but then we wouldn't have had that nice big reveal.
True.
Right, and it's just like, I couldn't imagine having to struggle to push my like brother in a wheelchair through the middle of some Texas field at night.
Yes.
Like that dude's got to be heavy. Like Franklin doesn't look like a light dude. Like he's.
Hey, PvP.
And here's where they meet Leatherface.
Yeah, and I felt so bad for Franklin on this one. Just like brutal. Like
Totally
you're just stuck.
Yep, nothing he can do. He's just stuck there.
Yeah. Hey,
And
yeah.
and once again,
Did you hear?
go ahead, Gorilla.
PvP?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, baby. And then, yeah, so once again, it doesn't show anything. Like, you see the chainsaw, and then you see the handle, and you see some blood, but you don't ever really see anything too visceral in this film.
Yep.
I mean, the most visceral things are the head smashes with the hammer, and that's more real that you see than with the chainsaw. Well, at least with most of the chainsaw kills, we'll see one part later, we'll find out why using a chainsaw as a weapon is a double-edged sword, or a double-edged chainsaw in this one. So yeah, unfortunately, Sally Buddy's dead, so Leatherface is chasing her back, and he's chasing her into the house.
Right. She's headed to exactly the wrong place. But she doesn't know that yet.
Right? Like, I don't even think she knows that that's where the other people went.
Nope, she doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
All she knows
I mean,
is she's
like,
trying to get away from Leatherface. And by the way, at this point, he's not known as Leatherface. They didn't really call him that until later on when they made the sequels.
yeah. Yeah, that's, yeah, exactly. That's a good point, Pop. I don't even, does he even have a name in this one?
I don't think they address him. We'll know when we see the credits.
Right. Well, I mean, Gunnar Hansen is known, like, they're calling him Leatherface, but, like, I don't think they're ever like, go get him, Leatherface. Or maybe he does. Does the dude scream, go get him, Leather? Later on in the film, and here we get the dad. So we get the true patriarch of the film.
Grandpa.
Not the true bad guy, but yeah. And you'd think his family would be pissed too with him, like, chainsawing down the door. And, like, this dude looks like he's dead, but he's not. Oh, how creepy. Like, I love it. It's just so good.
It must be Grandma.
Oh, I didn't even think of it. Yeah, for sure. Totally.
Smart, right out that window.
Dude, right? Like, she's lucky she didn't break any bones.
Yep.
Let alone, like, carve herself open on the plate glass. Like, she got a little bit, but, like, yeah, it's taking her a little bit longer to get up than you're kind of hoping for. But yeah, it's what this is. And once again, like, unfortunately, if you haven't seen this film, you don't really get the full tension and terror of this scene. But it is really gripping and riveting. Like, it's the whole time you're really feeling for Sally, and you're just like, holy shit! Like, you want her to get away because, like, ultimately, none of the characters have been assholes. Like, even the one you could say the most who's being a dick is Franklin, but that's because he's dealing with the mockery and dickishness of the other characters.
Right.
So, like,
and he really
they're all just not. Exactly. No, he doesn't, Pop.
Right.
And
this is made back in the days where they didn't have to paint people like a bad guy before they were killed. That's another trope I hate about modern day horror movies.
Which trope?
Where they've got to make the person a bad guy first before they kill him.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or they're all just miserable assholes. So, like, there's no redeeming qualities anyway.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah, and once again, a really nice, really riveting chase scene. A bunch of just good angles. Like, you can tell that the budget is low, but, like, it's great. It works out really well. And then here we are. We're back at the gas station. And somehow Leatherface is gone. So she's screaming for help. She's looking for help. And then, here's our proprietor from earlier. Thank God. He's going to help. Our savior.
And of course, she's just saying, help, calm down, you're all right, you're okay.
Right. And, like, at this point too, right? And he's just like, he seems like he's okay. Like, just take it easy. And she's like, what happened? And she's like, he's trying to calm her down. Oh. And she's like, I don't know what happened to the others. I know he killed Franklin, and I know. I don't think she knows that they killed Jerry, but
No, she doesn't quite know yet.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't know if he's lying to her or not, but he's like, there's no phones here. We have to drive over to Childress, which I never caught that line in the film. But that's an interesting name for a town, too. And so once again, it seems very bizarre, right? That, like, Leatherface was right behind her. Why on earth isn't, where'd he go? Oh, man. And even just like, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I just bumped against my mic.
Oh, okay. And like, man, like it's interesting because we linger on. Go ahead, Pop.
I was just going to say they mentioned how sweltering it is, like 99 degrees with 98% humidity.
The 98% humidity I get, but like, yeah, 98 degrees sounds awful too. And like, so she's looking over and she's noticing now all of a sudden in this dude's place, there's the barbecue that he was talking about earlier.
Which looks odd.
Right? It's very bizarre. And like, poor Sally here, right? Like, can you imagine just sitting, waiting, and some dude's like, yeah, I'll be right back. Don't worry, I gotta go get the vehicle. And you're looking and you're like, well, what the hell? Like,
that doesn't look like any meat I'm used to seeing.
Right? The sheriff's deputies found a reported dozen coffees robbed of their contents. As we pan over the shot of meat, so they're alluding in the film, of course, that that's what that is. There were cadavers in which 2 heads and extremities were removed. And once again, see, like, telling, not showing, but once again, it's in a news report, so it's okay in this situation. And then they're talking about a well-organized jewel theft ring. And here comes the truck, so we're thinking we're okay. And that smile immediately would have given me red flags. But once again, like...
Right, what's the point of the bag? And he's hitting her with the broom.
And he's reveling in it. He's taking a lot of enjoyment on inflicting pain on her. And so poor Sally, thinking this is going to be her savior, and he ends up beating the crap out of her. I believe to the point of unconsciousness, right?
I think so.
You got a message. Sally groans. So yeah, maybe if not unconscious, she's been beaten to the point where he's able to stuff her in a bag and throw her in the truck. So she is incapacitated for all intents and purposes. And like once again, just like it's unfortunate how we're not really able to express how anxiety-inducing a scene like this is just through us talking and seeing slides and whatnot. But like, if you haven't somehow seen this film before, I definitely, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching, appreciate it. But like, go and watch this film too, please, because it's awesome. And once again, the low angles with the cameras, the lighting on him lays a really sinister aspect to this character.
And he's just laughing the whole time, of course.
Yeah.
Little coon shits. And now we find out they know each other.
What do you know? Oh man. And yeah, so sorry, I was just reading the chats. Did they mention that the hitchhiker who they picked up, I'm not sure if they mentioned this or not, but it's late enough in the film. He was the one who's been digging up the bodies, and he's the one who put the corpses and made the statue out of corpses in the graveyard there.
Right, that's why he had the camera.
Yes.
And now we are back at the same house, unfortunately.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to rewatch this part, so I can't remember what's going on. Except that lady gets dragged back to the house, I think.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So this is like one of the crazier scenes, and this is one of the scenes that's like well ripped off. Like, so they brought her back, and they're bringing her in, and basically what happens is they're trying to get they're going to get the dad to come down, and Buddy's basically sorry, I'm just I got perplexed. This is where we also get to see that Leatherface isn't just he's not like Jason Voorhees or anyone else, where he's just like this monster who kills for the sake of killing. Like it's heavily implied that he's very limited mental capacity.
Yes.
It's implied that, well, as we can see, that he's beaten and abused by his family members. So he does a lot of the killing just because they tell him to, and more out of fear than anything else. So he's more, honestly, in my opinion, he's more of a sympathetic villain than any, like, the older brother and the dad, and then the old dude, all are more monsters than Leatherface is to me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's mentally stunted makes it even scarier because that makes him more dangerous.
Yes. Oh, so he does get pissed off. You damn fool, you ruined the door. And I was just like, oh, yeah. Go upstairs and get your grandpa.
You still with us, Gorilla?
Yeah, I am. Here, should we catch up on chats real quick?
Sure.
Good idea. Thank you.
Scrolling.
Scrolling.
Said, hi guys, just wanted to say hi.
Hey,
It's been a
beep.
great week, so not joining Pal tonight. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, no worries, buddy.
And C4 here says, "Be back. Got to go to the little mass murderers room." Well,
Oh,
Aha!
you have fun with that, C4.
At least it's not a big mass murder's room. Those are much more harder to clean.
Yeah. And Scurvy says the sequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the British Columbia Eggnog Massacre. And PvP says, haha, Scurvy, good one. He says, I have a feel this isn't gonna head well. And man, can't type. I have a feel the whole town are cannibals. Now I think just the family.
yeah, it's
Hard
just
enough
a
to get
family as
one
far as
messed
I
up
know.
family there, but yeah, the whole town. He says,
I don't think there is a town. Well, I think there is, but yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's just this family that are the cannibals.
The Sawyer family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he goes, I might have to watch this if I had time, but didn't have enough this week. Oh, hey, it's actually pretty decent, so you should definitely watch it if you haven't PvP. It looks more interesting with you guys discussing it.
Well, we
And
don't want to give any spoilers.
yeah, PvP says this has been an insane couple of days of work. Nemesis, I've lost 8 hours the past 2 weeks and found out today my hours are going back up by 4. Been a roller coaster. That has to be a roller coaster.
Yeah, dude.
Daniel says, "Hi, Pop. I just got back. I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Hey,
Over
Daniel,
glad-
good to see you.
Yeah, glad to hear that, Daniel. Good to see you, buddy.
And Greg, I'm not drinking every time you guys put this in the chat. Get to the chopper." And Daniel said, "The 1974 movie is way better than the 2003 movie. This is the only one I've
Agreed.
seen, so." Uh,
And I love that the fact that the lamp is a human hand.
all right, so C4 says, these people are freaking monsters. This is what Ron Zombie ripped off for House of 1000 Corpus and Devil's Rejects."
Yeah,
I
Rob
would
Zombie's a hack.
100% agree with that.
Rob Zombie's a hack. Untalented one.
Yeah, and Daniel says it's much more interesting with you guys. I love it more.
Okay.
Then he says Leatherface versus Michael Myers.
Michael Myers, because he's immortal, basically.
Well, I don't even know who Michael Myers is, so.
Jesus. And look at the sheer terror on Sally's face. Like, this is awesome. Like, great acting. Like, she looks like she's genuinely terrified.
Yep, I agree.
And so was that the scene where they cut open her thumb and they feed it to the grandpa and he starts like sucking on her thumb like it's a baby, like a pacifier or a bottle? Oh, and look at that. I wonder what those sausages are made out of. And so here we have... Go ahead, Pop.
I definitely would not want to find out what they're made out of. God, Dad talking to them like they're acting like the pack of hounds when they're all acting like nutcases.
Right? Well, because Buddy's like screaming and yelling because she woke up and she's screaming. So they all scream back at her and Buddy's throwing stuff at her. And like, it's interesting because like Leatherface is dressed up in drag right now.
Yep.
So he's playing the part of the mom, and then we've got the dad at the head of the house, and then we've got ultimately Grandpa, who's the patriarch. But like, so yeah, even there, like with the dead skin mask that Leatherface is wearing, it's got a bunch of makeup and stuff on it. Like this face screaming. Yeah, that's real terrifying. A lot of test audiences have been shown this, and like the screaming is what puts a lot of people off. Like Sally's screams are genuine, and like it's very disconcerting. And here she's pleading with the dad too, right?
Yep. I don't think Dad's gonna listen. What did they call him?
Me and Leatherface. All right, so there we go. Established. Amazing. Me and Leatherface do all the work. He don't like it. It's just like, Yeah, so they imply that the dude who runs the gas station there only does the cooking, whereas like what we didn't get to hear in the van is this dude here on the left, the hitchhiker, was talking about skinning the bones and how having to do all of that and working at the slaughterhouse.
Right.
So he and Leatherface are the ones who do all the carving up of the bodies and whatnot, and the older dude just cooks. See, it's funny because even him, he's like, I don't like killing. And he's like, even if you have to do it, you shouldn't enjoy it. Because the hitchhiker, the son, is like a psychopath, just a straight up psychopath, and enjoys it. He's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, look at that acting. Just all the little quick cuts, like the skull being used as a lamp holder, and the wax and whatnot, and the skin mask and the face over the lampshade, and the people walking, and just like the quick cuts. Like, there's so much to this movie. Like, it's just, this scene is super intense. Like, I couldn't imagine seeing this back in the 70s, before anything like this had really been around. Like, and that angle too, where it just zooms in on her eyeballs, and it's just like, ugh. Right? Like, just a weird juxtaposition. Like, it's interesting. And the zoom in with the POV camera shots, and it's just like, it's like, and yeah, and even the little kid's just like, I call him the little kid. He's like, yeah, shut up. He's very scary. And the dude, like, even that guy has a bit of, I wouldn't say class, but he's just like, I don't like, this is too much. I don't want to be a part of this. You guys go and kill her. Like, this is too much for me. It's just like, oh, well, I mean, at least there's that.
Should we catch up on chat?
I mean, I guess.
Good. Sure.
Okay. PvP says Rob Zombie isn't talented enough to be original.
No, he sucks.
Yeah. Michael Myers is the killer from the classic Halloween. Okay. And PvP says Zombie reminds me of Marilyn Manson. He just basically ripped off Alice Cooper.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And PvP says even more disturbing is there are real people just this messed up.
Yes, yeah? That's one of the scariest parts of the film, is that because of the realism of this film and the way it's filmed, it's scary because, yeah, as PvP said, there are people out there like this, and it doesn't take very much for people to become like this. Right? Like, because this whole family is unemployed. They all worked at the slaughterhouse. It got shut down, and they're desperate by any means. And so they've been picking off tourists and stranded motorists one by one and eating them and killing them. So it's really messed up.
Okay. And welcome to the Writer Brothers. Welcome. And they say, hail.
Hey, welcome, the Red Brothers. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it, guys.
Hello, hello. Yeah,
That's all.
welcome. Okay, are we done with the chat?
Yeah, we're. Oh, one more. PvP says first time I saw a bit of this was it was a strip bar in the late '70s. They didn't leave it on the big screen long since the customers were there for titties and beer. Titties and beer.
Yeah, I can see how this might turn them off.
Just a little.
And that was where they're establishing that Grandpa used to work at the slaughterhouse. So they're saying, Grandpa, you want to give her a whack? Like the good old
He
days.
used to be the best, the legendary. He could kill a cow with one hammer blow. And therein lies going back to the whole conversation about what's better, what's more humane, a quick hammer blow or the gun to the back of the head.
Right. But now he's so old and feeble, it's worse now because he misses and he's weak.
And like the Sons and Leatherface refuse to acknowledge that too. Like they say they don't want to see that the patriarch of the family is so weak and frail that he can't even lift the hammer, let alone swing it good enough.
Yep.
It never took more than one lick back in those days. He did 60 in 5 minutes once. I couldn't imagine killing 60 cattle with a hammer blow in 5 minutes. Yeah, so they're talking him up. And once again, there's a little bit of the topic of emasculation here, where it's like, once again, like, Grandpa's too actually old and weak and feeble to do anything about it.
Yep.
And that, in turn, and it's their ignorance and them allowing to not even see that, well, as we'll be able to see here in a second, allows Sally her opportunity to get it to escape. And once again, this is quite an intense scene. See? Boom. He can't even hold the hammer, let alone lift it. Oh, those shoes. Ugh. It's frustratingly funny. You're just like, oh man, like, because you don't want Sally to die. At least I don't.
No.
Like,
well, not anybody in their right mind that I know of.
right?
I know I'm going to get a copyright warning for this.
I don't think so. I think we're doing pretty good so far.
Well, that's what I thought with some of the other things, and I got a warning on them. And fortunately, she gets loose and out another window.
Boom, right? Like, and this time she doesn't hesitate. She took some glass there. Like, she's bleeding pretty well. I don't know is that from the hammer blows? Couldn't be. Because he didn't actually hit her. But yeah, so it's daytime. She's made it out. She survived the night somehow. And this chase scene alone is terrifying and exhilarating. It's one of the best in cinema. Well, I wouldn't, maybe not the best in cinema, but damn, is it not, like, intense.
And there goes Leatherface after her. And they're basically just playing with her, you could tell.
Yeah, the dude in the front could have taken her out immediately, but he's having the time of his life. He's loving it. Because ultimately, why wouldn't they think that?
Well, at this point, isn't he? If I remember right, he's slicing her in the back with his straight razor. Right there.
Oh, I don't think I ever caught that. Oh, of course. Boom. Yeah, boom.
Right, he's slicing her all up in the back.
Truck horn, beep beep, and then
and the truck runs over the guy.
Yeah.
Which it was hard to catch with the slides, but oh well.
Just a more incentive for you to go and see this film if you haven't.
And of course, truck driver's like, "What the hell is going on here?" And it happens to be a cattle truck.
Right? Once again, and here comes Leatherface, and he's just carving up the side of the vehicle, and it's just like, because once again, just kind of showing that he's not the brightest bulb in the bunch.
And he goes after both of them. The truck driver's still not knowing what to think.
Well, and I just don't understand why they didn't just, like, drive away again. Like, Leatherface wasn't getting through the door. And there we go. This is why a chainsaw is a double-edged sword. Because he tripped and fell, and it's, like, carving into his leg. Because it's still running. And once again, just one of the more...
This is why you don't run with the chainsaw, kids.
Yeah, well, once you release from the trigger, the chain stops. Well,
not the 70s version.
Oh, not the 70s one?
I guess not.
Not the one he has.
Maybe this is the reason why they started to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, poor Leatherface.
That's why they started building all those safety features.
Right? Oh, my God. And then she's able to wave down a truck. And I mean, she's lucky he stops. Like, I don't know if I would if I saw that situation. And then, so I still, correct me if I'm wrong, what happened to the truck driver?
Yeah, I guess he just disappeared, went off down the street.
He said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out of here."
Dude, right? Like...
And this is excellent, too, because her laughter is almost maniacal. You can tell it's true euphoria. The acting is great.
Well, and is it euphoria, or is it like she survived so much, I'm surprised she isn't having a mental breakdown.
Right.
And then, yeah, just this scene here is also iconic, with just Leatherface swinging around and screaming away. And there we go. The movie's over.
It's not a very long movie when you think about it.
No, it's not. Not very long, not very gory. But its its influence on horror. Like, it's funny because it's like there are slasher films. Well, there aren't very many slasher films before this movie, but this left such a cultural impact on horror in general, setting up a bunch of tropes and whatnot.
Definitely.
That its impact is undeniable.
Music score, Tobe Hooper did the music himself also.
Yes.
Narration, John Larroquette. Yeah, so there it is. We made it through another movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves tonight.
Definitely. I know I did.
And how about you, Gorilla? How did you enjoy it overall?
Overall, this is pretty good. It was not nearly as bad as I was expecting. Like when I hear Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm expecting like a bunch of bu- body parts. You know, you got spring. They pretty much put a bunch of blood in a sprinkler and just start spraying it down. But no, it's actually tasteful and artsy. You know, they leave it up to your own thoughts there. There is nice pacing, length there. I'm gonna give this one an A.
Oh,
And I'm
very
not a big
cool.
horror fan, and I'm giving this one an A.
Yeah, see, this is one of those where people just need to give it a chance instead of going by what they hear. Because it's a very good movie and it's done very well. And it's like we were talking about, they did that, they spent the money wisely. I wish they could make a
Well,
horror movie like this these days instead of Annabelle and all that garbage that we're getting out of Blumhouse.
I don't
Yeah.
think much more of what people are hearing. It's just that the title throws you off there because I was going by the title.
Well, it's
Well,
supposed
and
to
it's
hook
not only
you
that,
in
but
there.
like, go ahead, Pop.
I was just saying that title is the hook to get you in there to see the movie.
Totally, right? Like this started off as an exploitation film, and I fully believe that it is. But like a lot of people have also, there are so many sequels and remakes that people have seen, and they think it's going to be like that, where it's like gore for gore's sake, blood for blood's sake, right? Like it's not, as you were saying, tastefully done like this film was. Like there are so many different topics that they talk about that they don't even like really mention in this film, but there's a lot of subtext to the film that's really interesting that I find that the other films, the sequels and the remakes lack. They're just once again, I stand that this film is lightning in a bottle, and I don't think we're going to get another one like it. And they've tried and tried to remake it and to recapture what they have here, and I just don't think they will.
I agree. There was a couple movies, one or two, that came out about a year ago. I can't remember the name of the movies. I just remember the name of the actress that was in the Mia Goth because they kept talking about how she was like the second coming for horror movies and how wonderful she was. And it's where these people were filming. In fact, it's called X or X-rated, something like that. But a film crew were filming a low budget porno movie on this farmhouse, and they ran out of room from the old couple. But it's a horrible, bad movie. It's like trying to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre and not even coming close. But
Interesting. Well, that's kind of shitty, but I mean, it is what
it
it is.
was, it was terrible, terrible movies. They can't do it. The writing just isn't there anymore, and especially now, as we all know, Hollywood won't write. They won't hire good writers anymore. So all we can do is enjoy the classics, right? So what grade would you give it, Nemesis?
Oh, I would totally give this film an A. Like, it's it's almost. Oh, I'm trying to think. Like, it's almost A plus. Like, it's the acting is really good. The fact that there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of subtext between vegetarianism, the the juxtaposition between what's good, like how come it's okay to eat cattle and slaughter that viciously, but people aren't okay, and just how it interplays with that and how the house itself becomes the slaughterhouse for people. And in the beginning, we're kind of, well, it's horrific throughout the entire setup. And ultimately, it's very impactful. Like I said, I was just raving about it. There's lightning in a bottle. So, but yeah, like scenes from this have been integrated into Resident Evil 8 with the whole table scene that was copied almost verbatim. The whole house setup was copied verbatim. So it's been incredibly influential in not only video games, but in other film sources and horror media. Leatherface himself is just a fantastic and interesting character. Like I said earlier, a sympathetic villain more so than anything else. It just goes to show that it wouldn't take much for people to end up in this situation. Maybe not like cannibals or whatnot, but to end up off the grid with crazy ideologies, just trying to survive and doing whatever you have to do. Well,
Right. Yeah.
this could happen. And the filming on the low quality 16 millimeter, 8 millimeter makes it look like either like a snuff film or geography or a science film, and it's fantastic. It helps it. It's almost made it so it's timeless. The set design is incredible. The fact that it was made over 1 month, so that the fact that they filmed 7 days a week, multiple hours a day, and it came out with this, it's incredible. It's like, yeah, I'll give it an A because it's like, once again, it's not a movie where I'm just like, oh, I gotta watch this again and again and again, but you have to see this film at least once, especially to understand and appreciate other films like Friday the 13th, Halloween, Hatchet, all of these other films with the giant hulking masked killer. This is where it stems from, and it's fantastic.
Right. Yep, I completely agree. Is there anything you want to share about your channel?
Yeah, I do Skullgirls Mobile, and I do Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and Master Duel. So if you're into drawing boobs with pop culture references, check out my Skullgirls gameplay. And if you're into Yu-Gi-Oh! Check out my Yu-Gi-Oh! Gameplay. When it comes to the Skullgirls, there is no talking, unfortunately. Haven't found a way to be able to separate the microphones yet, but working on that. And then when it comes to Duel Links, I can definitely do more audio and talking with that one. And so, yeah, I definitely love to have your subscription, and I'd love to see you on my channel. And thank you to Pop Culture for having me here, and Gorilla for being our chat master, and to everyone in the chat who has been here. Thank you. You've made the night very special, and I very greatly much appreciate it.
Well, it's our pleasure having you here. Thank you. And I wanted to say I as well am going to give this an A, if not an A plus, because it shows everything done right. It shows what happens when you dedicate yourself to the craft, and not to make it. In fact, we were mentioning Rob Zombie. He's the exact opposite. Rob Zombie, everything he does is just to feed his cocaine habit. The guy's a hack. He doesn't know how to do anything original. All he can do is rip off from other people. And even then, he does that poorly. This movie is an example of having talent, having a craft, focusing, spending a little bit, what little money you have on the right things, and having it pay off. The cult status of this movie is definitely not overestimated. It is definitely worthy, and it deserves all the praise that it gets. I don't recommend seeing any of the remakes. As Gorilla said, there's 7 of them at least. So I advise you to stay away from those. They're not even worth it. Stick to the original, folks. I think you'll enjoy it, and I think you'll be glad you did.
Hey, curiosity's got the best of me, so I'm gonna check them out, but I'm not guaranteeing I'll enjoy them. But I'm gonna still check them out.
The second one is like cringe fest worthy. It's like black comedy, but the other ones I don't know if I could recommend to you.
The second one is a sequel, and it's kind of like a comedy. It's okay. It's worth watching, I guess, once. But the rest of them, everything after that is remake after remake after remake of the first movie. So it's not like they had continuing sequels like number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They didn't do that. It was like Texas Chain Saw Massacre, and then Leatherface Texas Chain Saw Massacre 2, which is a sequel. And then after that, it was just remake after remake after remake of the first movie. So definitely not worth recommending people, especially if you have any good taste in horror movies or movies in general. Gorilla, did you tell us about your channel?
No, I did not. tomorrow we are watching 2 episodes of Justified. There we're in the middle of season 5. There on Thursday for Cringe Stock, we are watching Adam Sandler's Jack and Jill just for PvP. And
Jesus.
what?
Nothing. Carry on.
Hey, I said I'll be violating the Geneva Convention here after I had to watch Fred Meyers Up. So Friday we are reviewing the Waltons episode, the marathon. Whoopee or yay! I'm so excited. But Saturday is we're reviewing Fallen, the movie Fallen, and then on
Is that the one
Sunday,
with Denzel Washington?
I think so. It was Germ's pick.
Okay, go ahead.
And then on Sunday, we are in for a treat with Sharknado 2. So,
Okay. Plus, you've got a whole bunch of shorts out there that are worth watching and tuning in for, right?
oh yeah, now I have a bunch more that'll be coming here soon if I just get off my lazy ass and do them.
I know, aren't we all? Yeah, thank you. And with my channel, let's see here. Tonight, Tuesday nights, we have our horror sci-fi stream. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, we will hopefully be here with 2 episodes of Gilligan's Island from season 3. We'll be closing that out fairly soon. Saturday, we'll be back with Rumblings from the Lab. And Monday, I'll be back with another classic episode of the original series of Lost in Space. But I did put a poll in the chat. If you're listening, and if you feel so inclined to vote, please do so. And I will share the results of that with everybody. And I'm going to have to close the poll first. Let me do that. But for everybody in the chat, thank you guys for being here and spending time with us. And if you have not seen the movie on your own separately away from here, away from the stream, I advise you to do so. I hope we didn't give away too many spoilers for you. Okay, so I ended the poll. Now let's share the results. All right, bear with me, everybody. All right, so nice. Looks like we got 11 votes. What grade would you give the Texas Chain Saw Massacre? A plus to A minus got a 63%. B plus to B minus with a 36%. C plus to C minus 0. And D plus to F minus 0. So overall, people did enjoy it. That's good. I'm glad to see that. So I'm glad you guys generally had a good time tonight. That's always a good thing to see. Yeah, that was fun, and we got through it relatively quickly, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys would like to add before we close this up?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've dropped a couple links. I've dropped a couple links in the chat. Definitely check out the Writer Brothers if you guys haven't for more pop culture discussions. They're fantastic. And of course, check out Pop's channel if you somehow haven't subscribed to him already. And Gorilla's channel as well is down there. Definitely check him out. And I guess I should probably drop a link for my channel too.
That's right. Did we read all the chats?
No, we got
it. We also decided for Saw 74. Is that a sequel coming out?
No, I think he's just being silly because there's just so many Saws at this point.
Is this where we were in the chat? Because I thought I had it marked higher up.
No, we should be at.
We did. Sorry, Gorilla. Go ahead. Go where you left off.
Where I left off?
Yeah, that was my mistake.
Yeah. The Writer Brothers, somehow now more commonly known as plot armor.
Oh yes.
Daniel says, "Run, girl, run!" And the Ryder brothers, Nemesis, you're Canadian. By default, you are always wrong.
Yeah, come up here and say that. No, I'll fight you.
Words.
I'll be on the next plane to tell you that.
Oh, dude, all right. If it means seeing you, I'm down for it. Same with you, PD.
And I know the general area where you're from, where you're at. So,
Right? Yeah.
I got narrowed down to 5 square miles.
Oh dear. Well, I mean, 5 miles is still a lot out here in Canada. That's like where my nearest neighbor is. No, I kid. We've got closer ones than that. I kid.
Daniel says, I went to First Choice Haircutters today and got a nice haircut, a scrub, and a haircut cost $26, and it was worth it. I get my haircuts for free, so
I like barber shops.
I like my sister's kitchen, so.
Well, there you go.
PvP says, I cut my leg once with a box cutter. Went to the walking clinic, and the doctor that stitched me up the 3-inch cut said, "You're lucky it's a clean cut. You should have seen the guys with the chainsaw cuts. Chainsaw shoes."
No, I mean, dude, I put my thumb through a bandsaw before. I can tell you, if that was serrated and I still got a big ass scar from it.
Yeah. Nowadays, if you cut yourself like that with a box cutter, you're gonna be staying there for 72 hours at least.
Oh yeah, especially if you're in an emergency.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they'll commit you there. The end of Sony's Spider-Man universe. More bad news for Boomic ever.
Spunk.
Spider-Man Extended Universe.
Okay.
Or Marvel Cinematic. I don't know, Daniel. I'm sorry, bro. Spider-Man ain't my thing.
Yeah, it's a horrible failure of Madam Web. It's possible Marvel Disney could get the rights back to Spider-Man for this. I would want anybody but Disney to touch it.
Yeah, Disney's not going to get that.
Yeah. Phoebe says, I wonder if Sally was insane in the last shot.
I think she was, dude. Straight up, like, at the very least, like, torn between, like, supreme euphoria and, like, having a straight up mental breakdown, because I know I would be. I would be all over the place.
Yeah, and the writer brother says, anyone excited for Saw 74? Yeah, gore porn. So this movie isn't gore porn? No, it's not. It's actually tasteful.
Not.
It's actually tasteful. Greg says, it was a lightning in the bottle.
Yep, exactly.
And it says, I'll have to pencil this in for the October lineup then.
Yeah, it'd be great for Halloween.
Definitely recommend it.
And Cam says, thanks, Pop Girls. This is definitely a forerunner for the whole genre of horror movies. Yeah, not a problem, C4. And
buddy.
And welcome the Phantom Boomer Explorers. Welcome.
Hello, Phantom Boomer. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, sir.
And
hey, Boomer.
And PvP says, Rossmeyer Grill. Fred Meyer's was a department store. Rossmeyer, Fred Meyer, same difference in the stuff we had to watch. Friday Waltons is a real good one if I remember. Well, you might want to get your memory checked there, that PvP. Ale Nemesis. I gotta take off. Have a good one, everyone. Oh, you have a good night there, C4.
Take care, Cam.
Later, Cam. Sleep well, buddy. And so, yeah, I dropped a link for the Ryder Brothers, dropped a link for Gorilla, dropped a link for me, dropped a link for Pop.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting those links out there.
Yeah, and
of course.
Says, have a great day tomorrow, everyone.
You too, Ryder Brothers.
You too.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't vote as I haven't seen it. Okay. And he says, thank you, Nemesis. And PvP says, I'm Canadian too, Nemesis. I'll join the fight them.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Oh, we're just gonna kick this off. We're just gonna, hey, let's just pick a spot on the border. How about the International Peace Guards? We'll just have a big old Canadian American rumble.
Dude, I'm down.
That'll work. Yeah, that'll work.
Inside the International Peace Gardens. You are welcome. I'll oil my chainsaw. Not here. The clinic 3 blocks away does triage. If you're bleeding, you'll get in fairly quickly. Yeah, but if you got like a box cutter, clean, yeah, they'll stitch you up. But after you're stitched up, they're gonna hold you for 72 hours for observation to make sure you're not doing it on purpose. He goes, hey, Russmeyer was an
Auteur.
He made a lot of great films. This one I picked for Chris was because it was his craziest. Most weren't that weird. I would hope not. All right, that's all the chats.
Okay, very cool. Is there anything either of you want to add before we close this out?
No, we're good. I'm good.
I am also good. Thanks to everyone once again for being here. If you've made it this far on the rewatch, you're a rock star. Well, and everyone's a rock star here who's been here, past, present, and future. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that like button too.
Yeah, if you guys like this, consider hitting the like and the subscribe button. Especially if you're watching this on the rerun. Check us out for more entertaining horror sci-fi stuff on Tuesday nights. And especially big hugs and thank you to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you guys spending time with us. And especially thank you to all my good friends on the panel for helping me out. And Gorilla, thank you for helping me out with the chat tonight.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, well then everybody have a great night. If you work tomorrow, drive safe, stay warm out there, and peace.